Hello everyone. Thank you so much for being here and welcome to the final panel of the day. This is the Gen Z finale. As Alex said, my name is Harriet McCulley. I'm the B2B marketing manager here at Pion and I'm super excited to be hosting this panel with some absolutely inspirational and fantastic Gen Zers. So before we get started, I just want to let you guys know about how this session is going to run. So it's slightly different to some of the ones you might have attended today. The floor is essentially yours to ask these guys any burning questions you have about Gen Z. We do, however, have some quick-fire questions at the start, just so you can get to know the panelists a little bit better. And we've got some questions that people have pre-submitted via our emails. As soon as we get through those, the floor is yours. So yeah, I'd love to get started. So guys, take to the floor, tell us a bit about yourselves and what you've been up to the past couple of months.
Yeah, sorry. Hi, I'm Aiden. I have a visual effects brand called COOLACLOY. I'm primarily on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And for the most part, I do 3D design and visual effects. Most recently, I've been working with a company in Belgium called Imagine, and I've been doing concert visuals and a bunch of different stuff for them.
What's up, y'all? Raise your hand if you like sports. All right, let's go. Better than I thought. So my name is Justin Leusner. I'm building Gen Z's ESPN on social media. I'm also a student at Penn State University, and I'm honored to be here.
Hey everyone, my name is Sommer Hill. I'm a graduate of Howard University, and I currently have my own production company as well as my own show based in Washington, D.C., where I interview young Black creatives on their story and their entrepreneur experience.
Thank you guys so much. So yeah, as I said, very inspirational, not your kind of average Gen Z, I guess. But I guess the first question, I think language is always changing, constantly changing all the time. Gen Zers are known for coining new kind of terminology and words. So let's kick off with your favorite Gen Z phrase. Do you want to start, Aiden?
Yes. My favorite one is, that's an NPC. It's non-playable character. People aren't paying attention on the street. You're just that's an NPC. If you don't know what that is, in a video game, it's a character you're not playing. It's just one of those background characters. And I think it's really funny that people are calling people NPCs nowadays.
Yeah, I gotta start using that one more. I use bot because it's like Fortnite, but that's good, Aiden. I like my guy James actually said this earlier. Lock in. It just applies to everything, you know.
And mine is still period. After everything, period. And we have to mention that when we think about these slangs and these words we're using, a lot of the time they are from young Black creatives. So shout out to the young Black creatives that are making them.
Thank you so much, guys. So I guess sticking with the theme of favorites, creator marketing, influencer marketing is a super hot topic at the minute. When it comes to kind of your favorite creators, who are we thinking about at the minute?
Yeah, I follow a lot of digital artists on Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that. And it's really cool to see what they're coming up with. Especially, I use Unreal Engine in the videos I make, but a lot of the other creators, they use different softwares like Blender, Cinema 4D, and it's really cool what these different technologies are capable of. Some of them more particle effects, some of them are more simulations. Yeah, so it's really cool. I like Brickspacer. Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite influencers.
Raise your hand if you know Ryan Trahan. Ooh, only a couple? All right, well, I'm gonna put you guys on. Ryan Trahan, probably my favorite creator. He's big on YouTube. He makes kind of in real life challenge videos. And what I love about him is he emphasizes redemptive videos versus exploitative videos. What that means is what you'll see a lot of creators nowadays do is they exploit their viewer in their attention span. He aims to really redeem that and make slower paced content that energizes the viewers instead of leaving them feel like they just had fast food, if that makes sense. Ryan Trahan's the best. You guys should check him out.
I'll check him out. So currently, I really like watching interviews. So I really like Scotty Beam. She's a great interviewer. Z-Way. And then also, I just recently got into watching dancing on TikTok. I'm not a dancer, but we have Lays here who is a dancer on TikTok. So if y'all need to learn any of the TikTok dances, you can follow him.
Thank you so much. And I guess thinking back to, why a lot of the brands and the people in the room are here, they want to understand Gen Z. So I think let's address some of the biggest misconceptions that people have about our generation.
I know being lazy is one of the ones that gets thrown around there. And yeah, I think that's a misconception. Like, we're living in a different time period than our parents. Like, especially with all the inflation that's going on and rent prices. Like, it is definitely like, yeah, that is an issue that people are facing, especially like living on your own and stuff. So yeah, being lazy is probably one of the biggest misconceptions.
That's facts. I'd say Gen Z definitely has probably a little bit worse of an attention span, but I think it actually stems down to they've just been exposed by so much content. You know, they've been exposed to, you know, phones and stuff since we were little. So many video games, movies, TV shows, streaming. You know, there's so many options. So I think just our expectations of what's engaging and good content actually just increased. It's not really about the attention span. That's my take.
Yeah, I would say for me, one of the misconceptions is that a lot of people think that Gen Z doesn't work hard. And similar to what you said, like my parents are like, so what do you do? Like, how's this making money?
Facts.
And I have to remind them, like, making money looks different these days. My productions make money. And to them, they think it's fun. But I'm like, no, this is work. I am working very hard.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. I think for like Gen Z, like careers and the future of like what work looks like for Gen Z is very different to, 20, 30 years ago. So thank you guys so much. We have now got some questions that were pre-submitted from the audience, so a little bit more in depth. But the first one actually came in, so talking about money. And it was all around kind of when you're making that purchasing decision for a brand that you like what would you say is like the biggest driving behind that? Like what makes you buy from a brand? Is it their social media? Is it that they're sustainable? Yeah, we'd love to hear from you guys.
Sure, you guys want to answer first?
Sure. You want to or me?
I was going to do it to not be awkward, but so I think that was more awkward. Sorry about that. I'd say I really love purchasing a brand when I feel a personal connection to the person talking about it, whether I know them as a friend and it's a referral, or like Ryan Trahan just launched a candy company, sour strips, and they're actually really good. I have them in my pocket, and I bought every single one because I love them and I wanted to support, and I genuinely like the product because it's also better for you. That's a big thing, and I think a lot of people our age are waking up to that because there's a lot of content being made about this food's actually really bad for you. I think that's going to be a big shift happening over the next 5-10 years, so that personal connection.
I like watching like personal reviews. Like I'm actually the type of person that will scroll through the comments and check all the reviews. I'm checking the stars, and if I find that it aligns, then I'll actually get it.
Yeah, and I know like on TikTok they have like the TikTok shop, and that's been like a lot of videos have been going viral off of that. And like just seeing like people like interacting with the objects of like what you're buying, to actually see their reviews, like what she was talking about, like it definitely helps influence your purchasing power. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. And then I guess thinking about like the platforms, we've got like so many channels that you guys are being marketed to. You've got like out of home, social media, email. What would you say is like your top platform that you like to be targeted on?
Yeah, mine would be definitely social media. I guess that's where I spend like a lot more of my time than watching TV and movies and stuff. But yeah, Instagram and TikTok are probably where I have the most influence.
Low key, this might be a little bit of a hotter take, but I like email and SMS marketing. I feel like that gets me. It just does.
I honestly don't like being targeted because don't listen to my conversations and send me ads. Like, that's weird. But if you are going to do it, I guess Instagram would be my preferred way because you can actually, like, click from the link on Instagram. Like, if it's on the story, I can actually click and go to a different link.
Cool. And I guess sticking with the theme of social media, all of you are kind of very active on your platforms. You've got communities that you've built and spent time on. I think metrics for success are a big discussion point for like a lot of people in this room. It would be great to hear from you guys about what you think is like a metric for success when it comes to social media. Is it having a high follower count or is it impressions based? Like, what do you guys think?
Yeah, me and Justin were actually having a conversation before about how like the views, it doesn't matter how many followers you have, but it's more of like how your channel is performing with like the videos you post. For example, my two biggest platforms are Instagram and TikTok. On TikTok, I have 550,000 followers, and Instagram I have 400,000 followers. And Instagram gets pushed out so much more compared to TikTok. Sometimes on TikTok, I don't reach like more than 6,000 or 7,000 views on that. On Instagram, it's more consistent with like at least every time I post, I know I'm gonna be getting at least 100,000 views. And it's interesting how like the different algorithms work, because my preference is Instagram because that's the reason why. Like it pushes out, it works more with my content, but yeah, I'm sure you guys have different, like the algorithm works differently with your content.
No, I agree with you. I think it's what is the creator's minimum average views. I think that's the strongest indicator of a healthy channel, not their followers.
Yeah, I think it's engagement. Like, if a lot of people are commenting, a lot of people are liking and sharing, that's success to me. Like, the follower count doesn't matter, but like how many people are actually engaging and then clicking through. So if I post a clip to Instagram, for example, and I'm trying to get people to go to YouTube, how many people actually get to YouTube from there?
Yeah, good point. I think another word that continuously comes up is like community building. Like we're seeing brands like building communities here, there, and everywhere. So having that kind of social following and the engagement metrics are super important. Speaking of like words that are like hot right now, I think AI is literally the word of the year. I'm seeing it at every single conference that I'm attending. So I'm really keen to hear, like, as you know, the future of kind of marketers or just social media in general. Yeah, what's your opinion on AI? Is it a threat or is it more of an opportunity?
Yeah, AI is definitely taking over every single like atmosphere in like the creator space. For me specifically, just within like visual effects and 3D design, I don't know if you guys know about Sora AI. It came out, I think, a couple weeks ago. But it's basically a text-to-video prompt that you could put in anything you want, and it comes out with an insanely detailed video. It could be a minute long. And that's definitely going to impact visual effects and like 3D artists. But for me, like, I'm excited to be able to use that technology to actually create videos with it. And right now, it takes hours to render out like a 10-second video. With Sora, it'll take a couple of seconds. So I'll definitely like start focusing more on storytelling than just like creating visuals. So you have to adapt with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like our lives, our parents' lives, their parents' lives, like robots taking over has always been a thing. So I'm not gonna let it scare me. I'm just gonna use it as a tool. If it can be beneficial and help me, I'll definitely use it.
Agreed. It's such a tool. It helps me and my team just edit and create content faster. But I think AI hasn't mastered the human touch yet. And that's why, like, we're all smart. We can tell when it's an AI voiceover or AI video or AI picture. But once it does reach that, which I think will take some time, but it probably will happen, then I think it's going to be at that point where it can replace us, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think you mentioned a specific like tool there. Are there any other tools like specifically that you guys, like AI tools that you use frequently and you would recommend?
I use ChatGPT because sometimes I just don't have the bandwidth to write an email, but I need to get that email sent out or come up with a caption or even like, you know, a YouTube description. So I'll use ChatGPT to write it for me, and then I'll just change the language to make it sound more like me.
I've been using Midjourney, which is like a text-to-image, and it's insanely detailed on like what you could get with that. So even just like creating like a website or just getting pictures from it, insanely useful tool. Just how detailed it could be. Yeah.
Yeah, I use fireflies.ai note taker in my Zoom calls, and it sends me like a transcript and everything. Yes, they're good. They're good at marketing, right in the email. I also like ghostwriter.ai for emails, where you can just type in a prompt, and then it kind of understands your style of emails, and it looks back at your writing style and your tone and your voice, and that saves me so much time on emails. And then the last one that I use is Google Bard, which I think it just changed its name, but it's similar to ChatGPT, but it's up-to-date information and research. So I'll use that for video ideation and getting clips off the internet.
Cool, thank you guys so much. I went to a conference in London a couple of weeks ago, and again, AI was like a massive theme, and one key takeaway for me was those that are gonna like embrace AI and use it as a tool and like shape their new title and their role around it are the ones that are gonna, you know, like get further, and that's what only like is gonna progress people in their careers as well. I think people who see it as a threat are kind of gonna maybe fall behind a little bit. So I'm all for the AI. I'm on the AI train. I'm with you guys. I think going back to social media, you all obviously use that as part of a massive part of your marketing strategy. When it comes to brands working with creators, what's like your biggest piece of advice?
You have some good advice off that.
What is that? What is it?
We're talking about like brand deals and stuff like that with like long-term. Actually, you were explaining this to me, so I think Justin, if you want to take it over.
Yeah, I think brands that want to do longer-term relationships with creators get more buy-in from the creator. So if you pay them a one-time fee of $10,000 versus $2,500 a month for 4 months, that second option is going to be so much more effective. Also, a lot of creators might be not paycheck to paycheck, but they really rely on brand deals and they want sustainability. That's one of the biggest problems with creators that I talk to is it's duh. So if you're a brand that can provide that stability for them, they're really going to want to continue working with you and over deliver to get that, renegotiation going. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just gonna add off what Justin was saying. Like you're definitely that's so much more. Like people and creators are definitely gonna want to do like a long-term relationship with you instead of just like a one-time payout. It's like people are definitely gonna want that choice over just a one-time payout.
Yeah, and my note to companies would be create a budget for creators. Like a lot of the time when we're working with different companies, they're like, oh, we don't have the budget for that. And it's like, well, if you're considering social media marketing first and digital marketing first, you would have carved out that budgets. And there's a lot of times companies will reach out to me and it's like, we don't have the budget for this, but we want you to do X, Y, Z. I'm like, well, I can't do that, sorry. So create a budget for creators and marketing, digital marketing in your 2025 budgets.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much. So it's now time to kind of open up the floor to you guys, the audience. Please raise your hand if you've got a question for our Gen Z panel.
Hey, what's up? My name's Dustin. I'm the brand chief executive for Dollar Boys. We're a group out of Philadelphia. We just, we do a lot of stuff. But the question I really got, because I heard her say that her parents don't really, I don't want to say support, but how they basically was like, like what type of money are you seeing out of this? Basically like, what type of advice do you got for, let's say like influencers or like even just, just basically Gen Z of, how they be like, I don't really want to get a job, I want to stream, or I don't want to get a job, I want to be an influencer or something. Like what type of advice do you got for Gen Z like that?
Yeah, so I also have a 9-to-5, so my influencing work is on the side because I have to pay my bills. But there was one day I just sat down and I was like, you know what? These decisions that I'm making today are going to determine whether my future kids eat in the future and what those meals look like, right? So I started thinking about streams of income. And, everybody says in order to be a millionaire, you have to have 7. So I'm like, okay, well, let me go ahead and knock out one, 9 to 5, knock out another, influencing, and just keep building them. So it's not about taking things away, it's about adding. You can do influencing, but what else in order to get you some money?
Thank you so much. Any other questions? We've got one at the back.
Hi, my name is Ricky. I'm starting a sports marketing agency / influencer content creation marketing agency, similar to Justin. Basically, what I'm trying to do is represent amateur athletes, collegiate level athletes, build their followership, build their social media presence, build their influence on social media, and then monetize on that social media influence by negotiating or brokering brand partnerships. That's kind of where I'm at right now and what I'm looking into doing. And I just wanted to hear your thoughts or your preferences in both either consuming or producing content as it relates to the sports world. And in that, are you more interested in documentary style sports content? Are you more interested in comedy style sports content? Are you more interested in how-to style sports content? Maybe, I don't know, just whatever it is that interests you as consumers. And then what interests you in producing that kind of content? What are you interested in making or using athletes to make?
Great question, man. And I would love to connect. So I think my favorite to both produce and consume is what we call original IP. It's actually shooting stuff. So a lot of the sports content nowadays is like B-roll of sports games with voiceovers, which can be fun, but I think actually capturing an experience, creating an experience, doing something in real life and documenting that, because think about it, what is sports? It's in real life activity. I want to see that happen. I could watch highlights all day long, but I want to see you do something really interesting. So like Dude Perfect, there's a reason why they're the #1 sports channel in the world by a long shot, because they actually do stuff, and they also have really fun crossovers. That juxtaposition with Luka Doncic and pickleball trick shots in the same video, people want to see that. So get really creative with how you juxtapose stuff. For example, we're doing a shoot next weekend with Penn State football punters, and they're going to be punting a bunch of footballs, and people have to try and catch them all without bobbling them. And then we're going to have like the mascot come and do something funny, like just show really interesting juxtapositions in sports and actually do the stuff. Don't just talk about it, go and create it, go and document real life.
Awesome. Thank you.
We've got a couple over here on my left, Olivia.
Hello. Are there any like real life experiences with you and your friends or with you and your family that you wish you could co-partner with a brand on and like share that experience with a brand?
That's a good question. The first thing that came to my mind is like every time I'm with my family, we're like, oh, we should document this. Like no one takes actual Polaroid pictures anymore, you know? So I would love to like partner with Polaroid and be somewhere cute with them and just have like, you know, a photo album from our events.
Yeah, I think like related to like what you're doing and stuff, especially with like computers and like different softwares and stuff. I'd love to like actually use like the stuff I'm using. I'd love to like partner with and like actually create something cool with them. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to every NBA stadium. The goal was 1 year, but with school, it hasn't panned out like that. We've probably hit 10 out of 30 in the past year, so it's going to maybe take another year or two. But that journey, going with one loved one, friend, someone on each game, it's just perfect for a sponsor.
Hi guys, my name is James. I'm sure you guys have been on, some incredible trips and, journeys in the last 2 or 3 years, and you guys are pretty young, and it's inspiring, to, be up there talking. Can you share with us, one of your greatest or most valuable lessons you've learned in the past few years?
Oh yeah, mine has been to trust myself. Like I used to like double check with everyone, like, does this look good? Does this sound okay? Does this feel like summer? And it's like, only I can answer that, So I really had to learn to trust in my own vision, especially being an entrepreneur by myself, a solopreneur. You really only have yourself sometimes to rely on. So I had to learn how to trust my vision so I could start cranking out more things more often.
Yeah, kind of just going with like the flow of things. Even like right after I graduated college, I'm 24 now. I graduated in May 2022, and I really didn't know what I wanted to do after college. So I did some traveling and like I kept up with like the social media posts, and it gained some traction just through like 3D visual effects. And I really didn't know what I wanted to do, but just through keeping consistent posts and just consistency of doing like what I like to do, everything worked out. And the fact that now I'm gonna be working in Belgium doing visual effects, and that's something like my major was computer information systems, so it's completely different from what I wanted to do from like what I was doing in college. So it's interesting how everything just like works out. So just keep doing what you're doing. Like even I wouldn't worry on too many things. You really just, if you like what you're doing, just follow that passion.
I couldn't agree more with both of those. And listen, I'm 21, so like I have so much more to learn in life. But I guess from the past, few years of going about business and meeting people, I think the number one lesson I've learned is that it's to actually quote the Bible here. It is blessed to give more than you receive, and I think that's so true. And it kind of stems down to just provide value to people, and the more you help others, the more I think will come back to you.
Thank you. I actually just thought of a question there, like related to when you were talking about like almost being here and like the successes you've had. I think as marketers, people are always trying to build their own personal brand. Like it's a very competitive environment. I'd love to know like your best piece of advice to like anyone out here who's looking to kind of put themselves out there and build their own brand.
Build on LinkedIn. Hot take, but it's crazy the relationships you will build on there.
I remember I was asking one of my mentors for advice, and she told me that I am the asset. And I was like, ooh, I like that. So just remember that you are the uniqueness that you're looking for that is needed in the world, and trust in that.
Going along with that, like just doing something unique and something that's not already out there. I think that's really important, just creating your own image and not following someone's format completely 100%. It really separates you from everyone else, like just doing something different. Yeah.
Thank you guys. Any other questions from our audience?
Hi, Thank you guys for being here today. So I know we spoke a lot about social marketing and posting on social and things like that, but I work for a college marketing agency, and a lot of our clients want to be on campus. So I think, Justin, you're still in school, and you guys might be recent grads as well, but is there any memorable moments, similar to what Taylor was asking, any memorable moments or events that you attended or you saw on campus, whether it be activations, swag items, things like that?
Well, yeah, I went to Howard, so Howard Homecoming. If y'all know, y'all know. But Homecoming every year is an event. We have Yard Fest where artists come to perform. We have a tailgate, and that's my favorite time. You know, you have vendors there, you have food, music, it feels like a family reunion. So definitely Homecoming.
Yeah, when I was at James Madison University, I was part of the founding of it's called Visions, and it's kind of just like a creator space where it doesn't matter if you do music, visual effects, like just anything creative, and it's just like a community where people come together and create different things, especially like going hand to hand with like music and visual arts. It's cool to see like everyone connect in like one spot.
Yeah, I had a similar experience at Penn State. There was an athlete creator day where there was about, I think, 70 athletes and creators and influencers from Penn State all in one like turf field inside, and every kind of corner there was like 7 or 8 different activations, like Gatorade, Feastables, Timex. Each one was giving out some really cool stuff. Like Timex was giving out free watches if you did their activation, and it was really, really good relationship building with the brands from the athlete side, but also everyone just had such a best time, the best time. Why was that hard to say? Sorry about that. Yeah. So I think those in-person events where it's more about the experience and then authentically capturing on top of that, while also a little bit of structure, like, hey, if you do this, I'll give you this with like a ring light and a tripod. That event was so successful.
Yeah. Do you remember, if I can ask one more, what was that activation? Do you remember, like, to win the watch, what they had to do?
They just had to run onto the basketball court, which was a live game, take the ball and shoot a 3 and make it. So it was a little difficult. Wow. But it made for some really, really engaging creative content.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
We've got one here on the front.
Hi, sorry. Hi, guys. My name's Izzy. I'm also 22 years old, so I'm part of Gen Z. But I work for a PR firm on the Amazon retail team. And I think one of my questions is, I feel like there's a lot of talk about, you know, like the Gen Z loneliness epidemic. I was a senior in high school when COVID happened. I think that affected all of us. And then also kind of just like tapping into nostalgia because of that. And I was wondering if you guys find yourself looking into these like nostalgic moments, whether it's in fashion or like a brand that has tapped into a nostalgic moment, maybe by partnering with like an influencer from your favorite childhood TV show. And if you guys have any examples of that were your favorite, and if you feel like that helped to make a brand feel a little bit more like a friend and less of a brand, because I think that's what a lot of brands are trying to do right now. They're trying to be less of a place where you could shop and more of a place where you could go to if you need anything. So if you have any advice on that, or just like any examples.
Yeah, I mean, during COVID, it was like kind of a time where, yeah, everyone was like inside. And yeah, like it's such an interesting time period because you're not spending like time with people face to face. Everything was online. So that was like really a time I took to like develop my like skills into the softwares I was using. And from that, I was able to like meet a lot of connections through social media, just from other countries, especially like just like other visual effects artists from Finland, Belgium, like Europe, like all of Europe. There's just like different areas that I would never have like even like I'd have to be there in person to go visit those people. But now since social media is, through social media, I'm just able to talk to these people, and it's really cool that we have the capability to talk to someone all the way from the other side of the world through social media. And COVID definitely like more people are interacting online, so it's interesting time.
I would say as far as nostalgia goes, I miss old sitcoms like, you know, Family Matters, That's So Raven. You know, I know it's controversial to say right now, but like Nickelodeon, like that was my thing, Disney. So just being able to reconnect with like TV, because I feel like we've gotten so far from TV and it's now, you know, computer and digital or streaming. So that would be cool.
Yeah, great question, Izzy. I think what comes to mind when you ask that is when David Dobrik partnered with Drake and Josh, he had Drake and Josh on his show, and they like reunited for the first time, I think, or he like surprised him with someone. I think there might have been like a Polaroid integration on that, but I vividly remember that video, and that was like probably 3-4 years ago during COVID, and I loved it, and I'm sure everyone my age did too.
Thank you so much, guys. Any final questions from the audience?
I'm never good at these. Like 5 years, 3 years, 10 years, like I don't know, because what I want to do tomorrow changes, you know? So it's hard for me to look at 5 years, but I know that I just want to leave an impact on my community and make my family proud.
Yeah, going off of that, it's hard to determine what you're gonna do in 3 years. Yeah, because just like an example, like 3 weeks ago, I was looking at places, like apartments in New York City, and like the day I was about to sign an apartment in New York City, I got a job offer in Belgium, and I was like, ooh, such a big switch up. But I mean, like it's a great opportunity to do like, especially like what I love doing, visual effects and 3D design in a different country. So instead of signing those papers, I agreed to come to Belgium. So now, in a couple of weeks, I'm moving to Belgium, which I would not have expected a couple of weeks ago. So I have no idea what I'm going to be doing in 3 years.
Yeah, I suck at this question too, but I got to graduate college first, unfortunately, and then I have to move somewhere because I go to school in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania, so find out where in the United States I'm going to live for a while, but really just be able to continue doing social media full time. That's been my dream since I was 10. I'm almost at that point where, you know, when I graduate, just ready to go, and I don't have to worry about picking up another side hustle or anything. So building out that sustainable recurring revenue, having a team around me to help avoid burnout, being able to take off on the weekends, because that's not something I really do, creating that structure for myself, and then continuing to build off on that when I graduate to have that more time, keep pouring gas on the fire.
Hi, I am the Director of Growth for The New Yorker, which just celebrated its 99th year. So I'm really curious. Our average subscriber age is well into their 50s and 60s. I'm curious, as members of Gen Z, what you think these older kind of legacy brands that primarily cater to a much older audience, like what could a brand like that do to capture your interest, make you a fan, or just like generally start to age down and be interesting to Gen Z?
That's so funny. That's literally my job at work, is to figure that out. I work for NPR, so similar, audience. And what I do is authenticity. Like, how can I authentically connect with that audience? Hello, I am the audience. I am young. I am diverse. So just creating content that I'd like to see is what I do.
Yeah, hire people our age to run that. And I think similar to what Izzy said, is you can leverage the fact that it's been 99 years to create nostalgic moments. And like, I feel like Gen Z, we always love to like romanticize whatever, the 70s, 80s, or 90s, or 50s, whatever era that is. It changes every month, it seems, you know, playing off of that. And maybe you could do like a now and then type series. I feel like that would work well, but definitely hire people our age to run that.
Yeah. And especially just like using music from those time periods and like different stuff like that. Definitely, like a lot of the older people do use like social media, just looking at analytics. And if you use like videos with music from their time period, like that attracts them instead of like the newer generations of music, you can definitely see like an attraction there.
And TikTok, get on TikTok if you're not on.
Hello. So I work in retail. I'm a digital marketing manager, and I'm actually curious. Do any of you consider yourselves like loyal to any brands? It's okay if you don't, but if you do, what made you become loyal to that brand?
I'd like to be loyal to Delta, but they're too expensive. But if I could be, it'd be Delta.
Great question. Wow.
Well, just going off of that, yeah, Delta, definitely I'm loyal to it. My mom and brother work for Delta, so I have to say loyalty to them. But other than that, I'm trying to think of some, and I really can't think of too many, which is interesting.
Yeah, I'd say I'm loyal to any company I've worked with before. But I think like this is a kind of an odd example, and I didn't think I would ever say this, but Pepsi, I'm probably more loyal to Pepsi than Coke because Pepsi is the Penn State sponsor, so there's only Pepsi on our campus. And if I see a Pepsi versus Coke, I kind of feel like, well, Pepsi paid $10 billion for that Penn State partnership, so I feel like I'm obligated to pick them. It's such an odd example, but.
But my parents are loyal to a lot of things, so I think that's like a generational thing. Yeah, because they haven't done much for me, so.
Cool. Okay, one more at the back, and then we can round up with your best piece of advice to brands.
Me. Do you work with any nonprofits? And if you do, what does that look like?
I work for a nonprofit, so I do their social media.
Yeah, there's a company we're talking to called Upside. They do a unique mix of financial literacy and sports betting. It's very interesting. I think they have a nonprofit side as well to educate their consumers, but we're really excited about working with them. We've said no to every sports betting deal in the books just because they're so exploitative. Even though there's a lot of money in it, we just don't feel comfortable promoting that because we don't believe in those missions. But this nonprofit in particular has very interesting mission to educate their consumer about financial literacy, about the dangers of sports betting, and protect them from that with limits, and we really like that.
I unfortunately have not worked with any nonprofits yet, but definitely open to it. Yeah.
Sorry, before we move on, I saw she had a question. I saw she raised her hand a few times. I wanted her to ask.
Hi, I'm Elissa. I work for the dating app Hinge. So I'm just curious to know, if you are dating, what do you feel like are the biggest challenges and opportunities in dating right now?
No. Not dating anyone, don't want to. The challenges are that I find that at my age, unfortunately, like I'm a lot more successful than the men at my age, and I'm not gonna date down, so.
Period.
That was her saying. That was her favorite. There we go.
Yeah. And going like off that, I know there's like dating apps that I've reached out to. I've done partnerships with dating apps in the past where like they host events and stuff that I find like really interesting, bringing like people in like a space in person instead of being online. Even though it's like online, to like bring the people into like a location, I think that's like a really cool way to meet new people and stuff like that.
Transparently, I've never used a dating app, so I'm probably not the best person to answer this, but maybe my insight on why I haven't could help. I just find it to be, at least the ones that I've heard about, I find it to be very transactional, as well as I'm a Christian, so I feel like there's probably not any dating apps for that. Maybe there is, I just don't know. But I would just kind of rather meet the person in person, because I know that people always look better on Instagram and social media and pictures, and you can edit and all that, whatever. So I'd rather just meet someone in person and kind of feel the vibes out in real life. Just my honest opinion.
Cool, thank you guys so much. So just to wrap up, I think if you had like one piece of advice that you could give to brands if they were trying to target, the Gen Z demographic, what would that be?
Listen to the young people.
I would say just keep it original. Try to do something unique that like not a lot of other companies are doing. And yeah, just don't try and be fake. Just like, yeah.
This is such a tough question. I'd say the comment section, you said that earlier, I thought that was so true. Reading the comments and understanding the vibe, and maybe even using some of that language, I think is a huge hack that I don't see a lot of brands doing.
Yeah, definitely the comment section. You could definitely get so much insight from that, and just seeing what people are talking about on there.
Cool, thank you guys so much. Aiden, Justin, Sommer will be around for the next couple of minutes if you have any burning questions. But appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you guys.